Madness Podcast! The best of the underground! Make madness your ritual!
How long could it possibly take to pay for by getting a
So, how do you think that went?
What do I think? You know what I think? I think you're all fired.
Oh, thank God.
Hey, what's going on, folks? Hey, welcome to the show, Ritual Madness Podcast. Thank you for joining us. Let me see here. I got to get my shit together. I got things all over the place. Do me a favor, check out, guess what? Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective is going to have a new spot. They're going to be open up here real soon. I just talked to Jason today. It should be within the next couple weeks. He's working on some flooring and a couple other things, and he should be good to go. So keep tuned for that. Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective with a new place real soon. If you're looking for some guitars, some strings, some straps, all kinds of that funky stuff, the Shred Den right down the street here, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., 9100 85th Avenue North, Suite 100, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Give them a call at 763-350-2191 or reach out to them on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, the TikTok, or www.theshredden.net. If you're looking to do some logo work, Narwhal Design Solutions, Justin Boney, look them up on Facebook, Instagram, the World Wide Web, Narwhal Design Solutions, Justin Boney at gmail.com. And if you're feeling generous, please just donate to the podcast. Keep this place going. I would appreciate it very, very much. And thank you so much for joining us. Wanted to, let me see if I can close some shit down here. And there we go. How's it going, fellas?
It's going
There we
all
go.
right.
I hit the wrong button there. See, there's too many fucking buttons to push over here. Not enough time to push them. What's going on, fellas?
We're going to push some buttons.
Some
Yeah.
SeXhail cats. What's going on, man? How you boys been? It's been a little while. I haven't had either one of you on the podcast in quite a few fucking years, I think.
It's been a hot minute. We were just talking before the show that it's been since whenever you were in your last space. God, back when we were playing Povs and Andor. Is that even there anymore?
No.
Is that gone?
Povs?
Yeah.
It turned into like a banquet hall for a little while, and then somebody got shot over there. Like it was like an Asian banquet hall for a little while, and then somebody got shot, and then I think they closed it down, and I don't know if it ever reopened again.
It's weirder that no one got shot when it was Povs, I think.
Some people got their asses beat. I think that's why Povs couldn't renew their liquor license, is what that deal was, man.
Well, also, like, Povs, there was just this mutual understanding with everyone that, I'm not condoning this, but, like, no one followed any rules there. It was like Nison's in and Chris once pointed out that it's like, those places are so nice to us all the time, and for some reason those are the places where, like, our singer just shits on the floor and whatever. And and I'm like, well, just because she's your favorite whore doesn't mean you're not going to piss on her.
Right.
And that was...
I was just thinking one of the last times we played Povs, our merch guy, Trevor, he got yelled at because he had a couple of drinks and he decided to light up a cigarette at the merch booth.
Yeah.
And they did not like that and came and took it out of his mouth. And the second that guy turned around, it was actually much like you in the video.
That was the inspiration.
Yeah, it
for
was like
that
the second
scene.
that guy turned around, he pulled out another cigarette and lit it up and just didn't even think about
John, the way you did that in the video, I thought it was so natural of you to just go, fuck it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
like, he doesn't know I have a lot of these.
Yeah.
But I think when it happened to Trevor, though, he didn't put a new one. It just like another lit cigarette just came out of his mouth and made a little cash register noise, like like he didn't really have to use his hands,
Right?
Like I did. So I was kind of an homage.
What was that first song that we listened to? That was a fantastic video. I'm assuming that you did that video, huh, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, John did the video. The song's called Life of Scum. It's going to be the first single. I haven't really even told people, but the album's going to be called Dumpster Fire.
Nice.
Going to get released on vinyl soon. But the video, I told John, I was like, I just want it to be very silly.
Yeah.
I think the hook is good, the riff is good, but I think it's weird I think I sent you like a Grateful Dead video that I liked from a long time ago, which sounds ridiculous.
No, I remember too. It was like the way that the colors were all jacked up like the early '90s, or
and I didn't even think about it, but he mentioned that it kind of felt like the bar scene and like Pee Wee.
Yeah,
that
that was
kinda
the other thing that I got all excited about.
Yeah, and I had never even put two and two together. I just remember liking that video as a kid, and it hits a lot of those same kind of just like absurd points, just guys getting hit over the head with chairs in just like ridiculous ways. But I wanted to be really just silly and absurd with this one. And the other kind of weird, subtle nod that we did was I like one of my favorite videos as a little kid was Nothing But a Good Time by Poison.
Yeah.
And if you go back and look at that video, I am not shitting you. count how many guitars CC DeVille uses. I swear to God, it's like 35. Really? Every frame that they go to him, he has a different guitar.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't quite have like 80s, cocaine hair metal budget, but I think we did like 10 guitars and
we
like
still
10
use
different outfits.
All your guitars.
Yeah, we even used a couple, maybe even from River Rock.
Whose studio was that?
That's River Rock Studio
nice.
in Minneapolis. Yeah, I recommend them highly.
Really, really cool background. I love the dynamic of the. Did you guys do the amps all?
Just stacked them all up like an old Ministry video.
I loved it, dude. I thought just those little nuances was cool as shit, man. I loved it.
Yeah, no part of it should have been realistic. That was our whole entire.
No, I'll give credit to the chef on that one because that was definitely John's idea to stack up all the amps and stuff behind there. But
it's just a cool little trip, you know what I mean? I just noticed things in the background quite a bit,
Yeah.
The whole weed thing, dude, when she went to go reach for the weed, and you're like, get out of here, man. That shit was great. To me, that was like, oh, hell yeah.
That also was John's idea, too.
Yeah, there's nothing funnier because it's so alien to most people than just being mean to hot chicks. And when I say that, I don't mean even taking advantage. I just say me being mean to them,
Right.
Just being like, can I have some of that? It's like, get the fuck out of my face. It's
Right.
like I make like $1 million a year on OnlyFans. I'm like, yeah, and it's not about to be 1,000,001. So get the fuck out of my face. But just for fun, because no one's used to that. Everyone's used to trying really hard, and I'm not into
It's just
trying.
It's really funny because I was just having a conversation with a pal of mine, and he was talking about that too. He's like, you ever notice when you're not nice to a chick that she's more attracted to you? I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst part because you want them to fuck off, and they just won't.
Oh yeah.
I mean, hitting on them gets rid of them quick. Yeah. That's the thing that I've learned.
Yeah.
But it sucks because then you seem like a creep when you just want to be left alone. But it's like I'm hitting on you so you'll run away.
Yeah.
If I be cruel to you, you're gonna climb into the trunk of my car, and my wife will notice that you can't have that. So it's like my only choice is to just be a pervert, and then maybe you'll be like, oh my god, I'm like, yeah, good, be gone with you.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Either that or you call your wife and go, I might have picked up a stray.
Oh, she has to pick them out, but that's fine.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
You got to send her pictures,
oh yeah,
just on the sly. Honey, is that okay? Can I bring that?
Are we gonna get in trouble?
Now we were talking just before we started the show, and I was kind of curious, how we were trying to figure out how long has it been since you haven't played with Blue Felix? It's been a little while.
I think it was 2022, maybe the end of 2022 might have been the last show that I was with them, but that was a wild roller coaster, and it's not over for those guys.
Right.
Obviously, they're still doing their thing. But man, 15 years. I remember talking to a guy here in town years ago, and you guys will definitely appreciate this, but most people don't realize is he asked us at the time, how long have you guys been together? This was several years ago, and I was like 10 years, and he goes, holy shit. He's like, band years are like dog years. It's like 10 years is a lifetime, and it really is, and you really think man, not a lot of bands really make it that long, even local ones, national ones, whatever. And the fact that Blue Felix somehow just has endured all these years since. And
you guys changed a lot of members through that whole time too, right?
Yeah, I would say me and Jake were probably the two longest running ones, but John was in the band for several years.
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 maybe.
Yeah, there was. Gosh, I'm trying to think of how many different guitar players we went through. It was a lot. And
you
then
guys also used to have 3.
Yeah.
So you definitely that added to the revolving door because it's like, well, who's the third guy then?
Right.
Yeah. And then I just finally became enough of an egomaniac to just go down to 1.
Yeah.
And just it was such a great blessing, or, for lack of a better word, to be able to be in that band for that long and just go around and see the wild, ridiculous shit. The stuff that me and John have seen as a part of that band and other bands too, but that band specifically is, we could be here for a week and just talk about only the things that probably would get us on an FBI list or something.
Yeah.
I think it was great to listen to Jake talk about so much of that old early Blue Felix stuff, and then when the mics were off, the other stories, you know what I'm saying? And it's always like that. It's like the greatest stories are the ones that are never told until like 25 years later. And then like, well, fuck, I could probably tell this story without getting somebody into trouble.
Yeah, it's what is it, statute of limitations.
Yeah, exactly.
Wear off.
Yeah.
Crazy thing with Blue Felix is not even, I mean, obviously a joke about, I mean, we really weren't doing anything that like off the rails other than just like crazy rock band shit. But the weird thing with us is actually like how much of that probably still exists somewhere on video. Not all of it, but there's chunks of just
I heard lots
chaos.
of stories, dude. Lots of stories. I heard tons of stories, you know. There's so many stories.
The first thing I said,
they're mostly true, probably.
Oh, they're probably understated. But the first thing I asked Jake when I joined is like, am I going to have to behave myself? Because I had just left SMB, which was...
Why would you ever think that?
I didn't know. Because like I was getting yelled at by everybody else in that band like a lot, you know, like and being like
for being outlandish or just pushing the boundaries every single time or what?
Well, okay, I could tell this story without telling the story. One time, Turf and I did something that to this very day I definitely should not say on anything ever.
Yeah.
I may have been misled about some numerical stuff, and the next day, like I was just yelling about it on stage, and he's like, "What are you doing?"
Right.
he got really upset about it. It's like everyone thinks I'm just making stuff up.
Right.
Like this doesn't sound true. It sounds a little true. It sounds really bad now. It sounded really bad then, but it's just that kind of thing where I just would go on stage and just air the dirty laundry from last night and be like, "Dude."
Yeah.
You know, and it's like there was less cameras then. You know,
Yeah.
and now it's worse. So it's like. I don't know, just being just a combination of horny and destructive and cavalier and you know, and like, and then I knew Blue Felix was like a lot of fun, you know, because SMB played with Blue Felix, but I was like, so what's the you know, because there's things where there's like Psycho Stick always had all these rules.
Yeah,
they literally asked SMB on tour like, how do you guys end up getting into so many adventures? And I was like, remember when those like teenage hillbilly girls asked us if we wanted to go stay at their cabin in the middle of nowhere after a show, and you guys freaked out and just said we're going to go get a hotel room, and we went with them? Yeah, that's why. Like that.
Right.
That's and we're all clearly still alive.
Right.
You know, and like so I'm like, okay, well, I you know, Psycho Stick seems like wacky, wild, and crazy.
Right.
And they're a lot of fun, but they're not degenerates the way that you know, like other people can be. So I had to just broach it with Jake. I was like, so is this one of those like you mind your manners and go to bed at a certain time bands, or am I going to see like everybody's dick within 5 seconds of? And that was the latter, you know.
Everybody already had their dick out before you even finished the sentence.
Jake was like, "Well, turn around, John," and I was like, "Hey!" And I just got an applause of everyone's dick whapping together.
Oh, that just reminded me of. I think it might have even been before you were in the band too. But to you talking about just going out to like some weird thing in the woods, we did literally one night on tour. This would have, God, it might have been when we were out with Mushroom Head, but I think we were in like Oklahoma City maybe. And we went and partied. Jake would probably remember this too, but we went and partied on a train car with a bunch of carnies. Like people that were absolutely working in like one of those traveling, you know, Crystal Frolics, Duck Days type carnival.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking shouters and shit. Come on!
Yeah.
Wow. Had like 3 teeth.
He's barking for the yak woman now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That voice was exactly
like 3 or 4 fucking teeth in their mouth, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
between them.
To John's point, that's, you know, Blue Felix. One thing I loved about that band too was like it was always fun. You know, like nobody was ever in a shitty mood. You know, and like not even to be necessarily sappy about it, but I feel like everybody was so fun, but also such an adult that like if I had an issue with something John was doing, I would just say something to him, and it's like it doesn't have to be this big thing. And I think so many bands just let shit like that bubble up, and it manifests in rules and bedtimes and fucking stupid shit.
You know what's crazy, man? Is like recently, you know, talking to some of these younger bands that, you know, haven't been around for 10, 15 years, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's so many things that they don't go through that we all went through with the bands. You know what I mean? Especially if you're moving around the country at all in any facet, if it's weekend warrior shit or anything.
Yep.
These cats are like, they're very, modular. You know what I'm saying? Like they just don't. There's a lot more democracy nowadays, which I think is kind of weird. And even. Yeah, you're saying the same thing. You didn't have the problem with it. I've just seen bands and band members. They get into this big drama thing. It goes into this big deal. A lot of the younger bands that I've been talking to, there's not a lot of that lately, which is good. But that's kind of a trip, actually.
I think they talk about their feelings, which is actually good. Right? Like they actually are like, well, I don't. How do you feel? Like. It's like back in the day, someone famously asked someone else, what it was like working with me, and it was like Hitler on his period.
Yeah,
and I'm like, yeah, but like Chris is my favorite guitar player I've ever worked with, and I've worked with some really good ones, but I also like very aware of the phenomenon like guitar player syndrome, where it's like this song is perfect, and it's like right, but I haven't contributed like enough, so I got to make it worse so that I'm doing something on it.
Right.
And it's like our democratic process would maybe telling him that that's stupid, or letting him record it and erasing it later.
Right.
Or like whatever. Like, I don't think people behave. I think they just actually work it out now, which is very positive. It's not, they didn't grow up in trench warfare, and they're not just stuffing it all down with some brown, like the old folks do.
Right.
That's good. I'm not making fun of anyone. I promise.
It's hilarious though, man.
But would you also agree that some of the younger bands, and I don't know, I'm actually asking now that I've been kind of disconnected from the scene a little bit for a few years, they do way less drugs.
Yeah,
way less drinking.
Way less. Yeah,
not the hip hop kids. The young musicians that are like rappers and stuff. They're hitting DMT pens before they go on stage. I'm not. I mean, it's almost a joke, but man, not really. They're wild. And for our work, we were just kind of like throwing an event that had a bunch of vendors and stuff. There's like really good hip hop going on, stuff I didn't know about because they're all kids, but it was like really fun and awesome. And they're just they do a lot of psychedelics.
Right.
Like I don't think anybody's doing blow or anything, but they're definitely just like expanding their minds and just getting fucking freaky up there.
Right.
And I definitely appreciate that. And I think stuff goes in waves where it's like with younger things where it's like sometimes the bands are more interesting.
Yeah.
And then sometimes the EDM people are more interesting. And then sometimes the hip. I think right now the people are like 20, 22. It's like I kind of think the hip hop's sort of more interesting. That changes. Mm-hmm. It'll come around and around and around.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But it's like right now they seem to be kind of having the most fun, I guess I would say.
Oh, maybe. I would agree.
I think part of it too is, and it's just been a shift in the way that music is consumed too.
Dude, and made. Man, there's so much AI bullshit going on, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But even separate to the AI, I mean, when you think about like, I love being in a band. I love, making music with John and the other guys. At the same time, it's like, God damn it. Like, if you could just be a solo artist and not have to like answer to anybody else. Yeah. There's so much more time for that DMT pen.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, it's just, like when you don't have to like.
When your band meeting is with yourself and possibly the Lord. Your DMT pen. Yep. That's about it.
I would also say too that
entities.
Yeah, whoever's around.
What I was gonna say too is I think one thing that I took from a friend of mine that was in a band we toured with a long time ago, and this kind of I feel like was true for me and you, but also just Blue Felix in general, is you kind of reach a point when a band gets to a certain level where like everybody in the band was kind of the leader of the whatever band they were in before that.
Yep.
And I think like especially Blue Felix and the SeXhail stuff we're doing now is like we have that in a very good cohesive way,
right?
Where everybody knows what they need to do and knows what their strengths are and where to contribute, but at the same time, like, there's everybody I think doesn't need to be micromanaged.
It's so understated when something like that happens to you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it's not just one guy doing every single job trying to hold it down. You know what I mean? Each one of those guys has been that guy in each one of the bands, and they know which direction to go. That's a great thing, man.
I was just gonna say, sometimes in those situations, like you still have people that might be really good musicians, but still kind of need to be micromanaged a little bit, or you have to kind of, not in a negative way, but just steer the project on track. And I feel like, I don't know, even going back to the time in Blue Felix, like I think John and I have had pretty good chemistry in terms of writing songs, in terms of both of us knowing where we need to contribute, and like, you know, I know my strength a lot of times is just like in coming up with a good riff and doing that, and John's obviously great at production and, you know, song arrangements, and I don't know if you'd agree with that.
Well,
or not,
we did what we did, and it sounds easy, but it's incredibly rare. Is we were just very good at dancing without stepping on each other's toes. Like that's what we figured out. We're just like nothing ever really felt like dissonantly, like, you know, like overcrowded or whatever. We were good at letting the other person's thing breathe and letting it be what it needs to be. Or
now,
whatever.
in Felix, you were playing bass at that time too, right?
Yeah, that's what I was doing live. Like in the record that by the time I was around and we'd all worked on it, the synth was all me probably by then. But you know, there were tracks and Dom and Wybot in the beginning live, but live just bass and yelling because that's what needed to be there, and I could kind of play the bass, so you know, it worked out.
Well, I mean, that adds a lot to it, man. If you're allowing things to breathe, especially in the rhythm, you know what I mean? Like you could pull back. I just watched something on John Paul Jones that was talking about that, how he'd let Bonham just hammer it, you know what I mean? And he would just come in on the tail end of it and kind of boogie.
Yeah, he was a real in the pocket guy, but so good at it that it's like, you know, if you I think a lot of people are afraid to be the in the pocket guy because then they're like, I won't get noticed. And it's like, well, yeah, but if you're working with John Bonham, you'll get noticed for being the guy that was smart enough to like stay out of his way.
Right.
And then it makes everything you're doing sound amazing. So it's like, then now everyone knows who John Paul Jones is, like that. Yeah. Right. And I think I've always, guys like that, and guy like, you know, Rick Rubin's one of my favorite, you know, because he's like, I don't know how to play music or operate an engineering board at all, but I know what needs to be done or whatever. And I'm like, I've always loved that. Like he was the one that said, a composition isn't finished when there's nothing else you can add. A composition is finished when there's nothing else you can take away. Right. And have it still stand as a Jenga you know, tower or whatever.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
His analogies are fucking amazing too, man. Just some of the interviews that I've seen, he's just a cerebral dude, man. Like thinking about all the old hip hop and how he's connected to all that New York hip hop, and how, you know, he's just a college kid and hooks up with, you know, Simmons and does all this crazy shit, you know. It's pretty solid.
It was a wild story,
yeah.
I love that the first thing about him was that the old school hip hop thing is like the first thing he noticed is that what people were doing live wasn't what was ending up on the records.
Right.
Like hip hop back then was like you know, loops of, or they'd even hire like a house like R&B band to play, and guys would be like, we're doing stuff blah blah blah. Well, they're kind of doing this, which I like the sound of that. But he was like, when I go out to a club, it's just like 808 machines and like record noise. It was almost industrial.
Right.
And then he's like, that needs to go on the fucking records because nobody's heard that outside of whoever was like in there.
Right.
But it's like really cool or whatever. And I love someone who just has that like just good. It's not like he actually went and did it. He just had the good sense to go, people need to hear this.
All those old DJs too, you know what I mean? Like Cool Herc and fucking Grandmaster Flash and all them crazy dudes were pulling things and picking things out, man, and you know, just this random white dude's got these great ears for all this crazy sound, you know, and being able to pick it and pull it through everybody's worked with. Yeah.
This is gonna be great. And then
Johnny
it was
Cash and fucking Nine Inch Nails and fucking you know, System of a Down and you name it, man. That dude's done so much shit. Chili Peppers too. I mean,
I love to his story about, like, not to make the entire thing about Rick Rubin, but I just love, like, they asked him like what he did with System of a Down, and he was like, all I did was find them. He's like, what did you do to produce them? He's like, I pushed the record button and I just let them do.
Did you see the one thing that he did on Joe Rogan where he talked about the I think it's Chop Suey, the little intro or the little space part in the middle where he's like, why have you forsaken?
Oh yeah, he just picked a book off the shelf.
Oh, dude, I thought that was cool as shit. I was like, that's badass, man. It kind of equated to the same thing that we pulled from the guys from Slipknot when we played with them as kids, is taking the phone book and riffing on the fretboard. What
I remember that the phone numbers as the riffs are. Where was I on a podcast where you're talking about that?
Probably.
So yeah,
I've said it a cajillion times.
Okay, because I definitely remember
it's
that.
Such a cool thing. And then, you know, seeing Joey Jordison like years after they get, you know, they fucking went platinum and they played here. I think it was like their second or third time playing here.
Yeah.
And he gets off the bus and he says my name, and then he repeats my mom's home telephone number. And I'm
Didn't he do it in guitar form? He's like 6 3 5 6 3 5 or something like.
Well, he did it, and then I told him that. I said, "Dude, we got that idea from your guys. You guys, we should do that too." And I go, "Yeah." And I go, "The riff you just mouthed was my mom's home telephone number, and she just changed her number, like or put it to her cell phone, but it has the last same 4 numbers, 1573, which they used in the riff, which is really funny for him to remember me for one after touring and making it big and doing all the shit. He gets off the bus and he looks at me and he's like, "Oh," and then he mouths my mom's home telephone number, and you get to tell him like, "Hey, we stole that shit, that idea from you guys,"
That is, that story is so good that I remember it randomly. I don't even remember the first time I heard you tell it, but I do, like, absolutely I recall that from probably like 15 years ago.
Yeah, I was talking to the original vocalist Anders down at the Acid Bath show in Des Moines, and we were talking about that, and he was blown away that I still remembered all that. I was like, "Dude, how could you forget that? That was the coolest shit when we were kids. I would have never thought of that." I remember my guitar players going, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah," and he grabbed this Des Moines phone book and he opened it up and he pointed at it and he goes, "Play it on your fretboard, and if it sounds cool, you fucking use it." And dude, we went back to Minneapolis and that was it, man. We wrote a bunch of shit like that.
Yeah,
just a great idea.
I was just thinking, like when we were just talking about hip hop, that what a nightmare Slipknot has to be sometimes to just like deal with that production and. I'm sure they're having a good time. Don't get me wrong.
They probably have it locked down
by now.
I couldn't even imagine back then.
Early, it must have been something else.
Oh yeah,
turntables and fucking how you miking some fucking giant kegs and this shit moving around.
Well,
everywhere.
the fact too, if you think about like having turntables and guys with like keg drums, it's like that's asking for the records to just skip all over the place. Like it's a self-defeating Ouroboros or whatever. It's like, well, this is just gonna. I remember playing with like. When I was doing that Just Say Yes thing, playing with like Blood on the Dance Floor and 303 and all those fucking goofball like MySpace techno bands, it was still when everyone's laptops had spinning platters in them and the bass drops would shake the thing and they'd have to restart their set and everything.
Just go do that weird shit.
Yeah.
So who else is in this band? How did this thing come together?
Wow, what a. It seems a little convoluted now as I think about it, although it really wasn't at the time. But really, it kind of spiraled off of me and John, where we already had several songs kind of done, and then we brought in Chris Morley on drums. A lot of people, I'm sure, around town have heard of him. God, I feel bad because I should name off.
Super familiar.
I was gonna say I should name off his band.
Oh, he was in
several of them.
Fifth Hour was when I met him, and he filled it. He played in. Gata for a while, Gabriel and the Apocalypse.
Cold Kingdom for
maybe
a while.
That's right.
He was in Cold Kingdom for a minute.
That might be it
too. This one now is a Bullets and Butterflies, maybe.
Now I'm not. I've lost track.
Yeah, but excellent drummer. And shout out to Ian Combs, that also a lot of people know.
I love that dude.
Yeah. So
good energy from that dude, man.
He played along very well in the video and everything too.
Yeah.
I've known him forever. He's a good sport for our nonsense.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say Chris and Ian kind of put their brains together, and my thing is, at this point, I'm never gonna be like grumpy old man of analog is better and it has to be real drum. Like, there's shit coming off of MacBook Pros now that is absolutely incredible.
Right.
But I just like real drums and real amps and whatever else, and it just like brings me joy. And so I hit up Chris because I know he had built kind of a cool little drum studio, I think, at his house. And I think Ian came over and helped him, produce and engineer out some of the drums. And then we got actual live drums. And
nice.
And then after that, I think I brought in my friend Stoney. That he's also was in Blue Felix for a while and fantastic guitar player. And then
was Stoney in Immorales, or am I fucking that up?
No, he was never. I don't know that he was ever in anything other than Blue Felix.
No, Stoney was in
Monsters Amok.
Yeah, I guess he maybe was more like he's like a textbook guitar guy.
Yeah, he's
like
also been around the scene, for a long time. But and then Ian Lochner was in Blue Felix on bass, and Ian I love dearly too because it's so rare that he's like truly a bass player and comes even. His dad's a bass player.
Right.
He like comes from a lineage of royal bass.
And he throws up before every show, which I'm
like just from nerves?
I think so. For me, it's usually booze and drugs. But
Yeah.
I never throw up. But yeah, Ian is a vomity boy.
Yeah.
And I love that about him.
I was for a long time too when I was real young in bands too. Sometimes, yeah. The worst one though was, do you remember when we were in Ohio doing a festival? You were in the band and I drank that weird vitamin water that was not right.
Oh, no, yeah.
I chugged like a vitamin water and then all of a sudden I smell it and I'm like, I just cracked it open.
Yeah, it wasn't. It smelled like
melted plastic or something.
Acetone and like nuclear reactor. It was bad.
It was within 10 minutes. I was outside in the field, like projectile vomiting, like from here to the fucking wall.
Wasn't that actually very similar in time that Ben threw up everywhere because one of our road guys was eating Uncle Creepy's haunted puff corn or whatever? He found these like weird like peanut puffs with like just a clown on it and it didn't have a name, so we called it Uncle Creepy's haunted puff corn. Wasn't
there like weird Korean meatballs too or something that got you at Rockfest?
That was the day that I threw up all day. Like that, like I don't usually throw up from drinking. It's been like pretty rare. I've thrown up from getting sick more often, honestly. But then I was like, I got like sun poisoning. I ate these Chinese meatballs where they misspelled meat MEET on the thing at this festival we were doing.
Dude, you should have knew right there.
And then Jake gave me a half of a Dilaudid, and I don't know, one of those things. And I threw up every 5 minutes for like 4 to 6 hours or something. Like I was watching Slipknot. I was like drinking water constantly to be like, I'll die if I get dehydrated. And I would just be watching him and just like Ralph off to the side and I just like gave up caring. And then it just eventually, like I slept under the bus for a while because I just couldn't stop puking. And then it just like, it stopped finally. And then I was sleeping in my bunk and it was like the nighttime. And like, I finally fall asleep after all that like retching and like whatever. And I just feel like Jake's fingers kind of like touch my back until I breathed a couple times and then kind of like he was like okay, because I'm pretty sure he thought I was dead because that was it was so much. So that made up for all of like 25 years of not throwing up. I threw up like 200 times in a row or something. Like,
people think going out and playing festivals is like so fun. It's actually it was, but it's also just
gross.
Throwing up, and then doing more drugs, and then throwing up again, and then seeing a bunch of like smelly dicks, and then you throw up a third time, and then maybe do some drugs, and then you go on stage and you get off and drink, and then throw up and go to bed and try to not wake up before the sun comes up. Sometimes
someone tries to tempt you into visiting them in their tent at a music festival, and she's like, we'd have to go easy because I bruised my vagina falling off the stage during you guys' thing. Oh, my God.
And she fell through the stage.
Yeah, and then I go, which one's the before picture? And she just went LOL and stopped talking to me. See, that's what you can be mean enough where they finally give up.
That's hilarious.
It was the festival we played, the stage was like wooden planks.
Yeah.
With little space between them.
Yeah.
To where, okay,
so
fine.
like a deck.
Yeah, you weren't going to fall through.
That no one finished building.
This girl decided she was going to come up and she was going to fire dance and, but whatever. You do you. She's up there. 2 of the planks broke and she literally fell through and did one of those.
Bam!
And she it was like a fucking movie scene. I've never.
It was pretty funny.
In a million parallel universes, I don't know that particular thing would ever happen again. It was just so crazy.
Oh, that's crazy.
No, we were going in. It was a full moon. It was raining.
Yeah.
And we were getting like fire blowing stuff like all over everything. It was really slippery because of all that. And I think it was my fault though because they were like
kerosene or whatever they're using to spit the shit.
And they were doing these fire stuff. And I was like, well, if you're gonna, because I was almost mad. I was like, you're distracting from what we're. There was a lot of people there, so I wasn't like really worried, but like angrily, not like I was like. Do that up here if you're gonna do that. Yeah. And then they did, and then they got fire and shit everywhere. And then what's her bitch fell through the stage and just bruised her fucking already confusing vagina. Like,
I love the fact that you're like, which is the before and after? It must have looked like a fucking.
It felt like a mean thing to say, but I honestly didn't know. So I'm like, I'm not gonna sit and agonize over my response. I'm just gonna type what I'm thinking, and I didn't get a good answer. She's like, LOL. I'm like, yeah.
No. That's great. I love it. That's absolutely great.
Isn't that where I invented the Blue Felix, the sex move? You know, like
yeah. Have you heard of this?
No.
John invented it. It's a rubber gloved hand job with a condom.
Yep.
Yep.
Because you don't want to waste this opportunity, but you know anything beyond that is going to like disfigure, you forever probably.
I think originally he said something to the effect too of that it's for when both parties are so gross
Yeah.
that it's the only thing anyone feels comfortable doing.
It's
is
like
a hand job with rubber gloves and a condom.
early Chernobyl grade safety measures.
Do
no one enjoys it.
Do they have to have a mask on at all?
Post-COVID, I would add that in. This was during those days of before that, so I'm like, but you know what? Honestly, you don't want to be breathing each other's air at that point either. No touching
that sounds like
skin.
more band throw up.
Dude,
Yeah.
you're saying gross. I'm getting an image. That's a gross woman right there, man. I mean,
Yeah,
probably
we should-
hot, but really, really dirty.
There sure were a lot of them.
Yeah, it's the kind of skinny up close, but then you're like, oh, that was Instagramma, not Instagram, and you're like, and then you find out they're like younger than you, and you're like, oh boy, okay. But boy, are they willing, So it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, not put on 3 layers of
Hold on a
PPE and have
second.
them jerk you off?
How
Like,
did we just breeze past the Instagramma thing?
I feel like that's probably someone else who said that.
Dude. Good God, that's amazing. That is amazing right there. Yeah. You guys have probably seen some strange vaginas on the road, huh?
Yeah, frog legs was the winner.
Frog legs, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
We had a lady, and she did this in the club too. This was not like back. I mean,
During
she was in
the
club.
show.
She had a short skirt on. She was probably, I don't know, in her 50s maybe, or
Looked like it.
yeah, probably one of those
Might have
ones
been
where
30.
it looked like 60s and might have been 30s.
Yeah.
But she stood up, and I will just show you.
Yeah.
She pulled the skirt up.
I wasn't standing right there.
They were dangling like.
You remember in Austin Powers when he's behind the shadow
Yes.
thing and it looks like Mini-Me's falling
yeah,
out of him? It
yeah.
was like halfway through that is what.
It looked like 2 little frog legs hanging down. It was crazy.
Wow.
I wasn't even right. I was standing like outside talking to someone. I like looked in and it was just like, ugh, like I saw from like behind. Like
It was
from
like
over
one
there.
of those few things where it's like you're not even grossed out. You're just like,
Oh, it was fascinating. Jake
Like-
signed him.
yeah.
I
Or it's
think.
like I'll
Jake
never.
signed the Jake signed the lips.
Well, yeah, you had to pull it tight, and he's like, it's fucking toxic, to, grandma, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So the serious Batwing.
Yeah, it gave our old drummer nightmares.
Frog
like he
legs.
would,
It looked like 2 little frog legs hanging. I mean, it was.
Yeah, yeah.
They
They were hanging.
were hanging.
I mean, I'm not judging it. I'm just like astounded. Like if you see someone with 2 heads, you're not going to just keep it to yourself. Like
right,
that.
yeah.
You're gonna be, well, that was something. But our drummer would just be like falling asleep on the bus, and he's like, "Ah!" and he would just wake up because he was like dreaming about him or whatever. Like
Eric?
Anthony, our old
gotcha.
giant man we had drumming.
Yeah.
I mean, if Eric had seen him, he'd be having night terrors probably too.
yeah.
Like,
Hilarious, man.
Yeah, me and Anthony used to joke about the worst part about being on the road is when you wake up at like 7 a.m. in like a Walmart parking lot and Satan's got a gun to your head.
oh, hang on.
You're
Let me tell this right. Because you were talking about, because I was listening to this, you were talking about how like you get 1 or 2 little elbow nudges from that dump you have to take.
Yeah.
The first one's like,
Yeah.
and then you're like, I can sleep this off, and then the second one's like, you're like, all right, I should probably start putting my shoes on. He's like, Anthony's like,
the second one cleared its throat.
yeah. Anthony was like, the minute my eyes open, it's like Satan has a gun to my head, and I have to fucking run in my underwear to that Walmart bathroom. Like,
Yeah. And again, these are the types of things that,
well, finding somewhere to shit, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you are like Jake, whose joy in life was shitting anywhere but a toilet.
yeah. And also, like,
That kept him going.
If you haven't taken a gas station shower in flip flops, are you really gross?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bird bath?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. We've taken some trucker
Or
showers.
full on truck stop
No,
shower.
we'll go to we would go to
I bet
where
both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean we'll take a
Yes.
horse bath. But we've gone and like just like took some of the fucking petty cash and all right, everybody, $2, go get a trucker prison shower.
Right.
Like And honestly, it's funny too because it sounds gross now, but boy, it was great.
Oh, they slap
being
at the time.
clean.
Dude, I'm sure being in a closed spot with the same dudes for fucking weeks.
Oh yeah, and days of when you're like, you haven't even taken a shit, and you just go to kind of like wipe between your ball and your leg, and it's all yellow. You're like, what? Okay, I've just been living like this. Those trucker showers make that go away for like 24 hours, which is nice. Right. And the amount of that's ended up in someone's mouth. Okay, I'll stop.
Those are some of the best stories ever, dude. Some of the best stories ever.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you guys, man, like, has music changed for you guys throughout the years, man, through all the bands and all the things, being in the bands in Minnesota, and like, has it changed for you? Like, do you still love it as much as you used to?
No. But that's me.
I was gonna say yes, actually, but just in different ways.
Yeah.
I guess. It's so different now, but I really enjoy making music. I think man, doing shows is so fun, but to the point of the whole ridiculous conversation we've been having for the last 50 minutes, like there's so much other shit that goes into it that just really, really can be taxing sometimes. But
well, I mean, you guys have seen, the stories you guys are talking about is like advanced into the scene, into an experience quite a ways. You know what I'm saying? Like new cats can't jump on the road and have these type of adventures.
No,
like that, you know what I'm saying? And it's so much different now, man. You know what I'm saying?
We're lucky that like we can get to the point where we don't care anymore,
right.
Like because you've done it all. Like the things before I joined Blue Felix, I could have retired and like every one of my stories would have been too much and then there was just 5 more years of that,
right.
Right. And it's like, well, yeah, but then if you tell it to someone who's like 22, they're like, it sucks. Your back hurts. There's nowhere to sleep. To them, it's like they haven't seen any frog legs. They haven't taken any truck stop showers. Like, they've never gotten yelled at by a cop for jumping naked into the shitty pool by the volleyball court at this dump in Mississippi that, like...
That son of a bitch is naked.
Yeah, they just none of that. They've had none of that. They've never been like, the only reason there's 3 girls at once sucking your dick is because of the band you're in. Like that, they were like, what? That hasn't happened yet. So it's like, of course they, go out there and ruin your life. For sure. Like, right. Try. It's like, I don't know how none of that... I don't know how we're solvent or walking like but it's like if you haven't done it yet, you give it a shot. Yeah. The times have changed, but I mean, like, there's still a big world out there to piss all over. Like, it'll piss back,
it will.
But
yeah.
I just thought about that.
See what happens.
That town cop in Mississippi was wearing flip-flops.
He was. That was
what?
odd.
Have you ever seen a cop wearing flip-flops?
Stop it.
He let us put 100%. Blue Felix stickers on his cop car.
I'm gonna also be
really?
Yes. I'm gonna be careful about the way I word this because the officer did not break the law, nor did we.
No.
I mean,
I did.
Well, you might have. I mean, jumping in the pool.
I was. I guess being both naked, publicly naked, and very intoxicated in public. Nobody tried, but I think that John was just the right amount of drunk. That if you had tried to convince him to let you hold his gun, he might have. Yeah, not after he had to yell at me though. That's the thing where I didn't, because like, look, I've had a lot of luck with, and I understand my privilege and everything, but like, I have one default, and it's the only reason I've never been to jail. And it's like the minute like a cop, anybody is like, "Hey, stop that!" I'm like, "Okay." You know what I mean? Where it's like I gotta have like no pants on and I'm just like hanging from a ceiling fan. They're like, "Hey, get down." I'm like, "All right." Just be like, "The fuck you telling me to?" Oops, jail. You know what I mean? Like that's the only. I've been in a group of people where some people did that, and I just Homer Simpsoned into the like. Like, okay, yeah, you tell him to suck your dick. See how that goes. Like I'm just gonna go like, absolutely, sir. Just leave and then
John,
go do more drugs.
You're the one that had fucking what's his name from? God damn it, he streaked the fucking Medis that night.
Oh, the guy. Yeah, I grabbed his wang.
So
he was up there.
So that night, that attitude is what kept him out of jail. Is because I was coming off the smoking patio and I walk up and I see the cops talking to the manager and she's going, "We want him arrested," and just freaking out. And I walk by and I start laughing and I go, "Hey, for what it's worth, I'm emceeing tonight," and I'm like, we kind of got him to do it. And the cop did this. He looked at me and stepped just in front of the manager so she couldn't see his face. And he went,
yeah, he gave you the really.
And I go, no, we were goading him the whole night. We were saying, hey, you're not going to get naked. Stop. Leave it be. And then when he came up, you know what I mean? So the cop goes, all right, I understand. I went to college, and he's talking. He was super cool, and that lady was like, fuck, no, arrest him. And he goes, I'll tell you what.
She's not very cool. I won't go any further.
He goes, I'm going to go around the block.
I will.
Okay.
He goes, I'm going to go around the block. If there are any children around the block, because it was like the Icentennial Parade or some crazy shit going on, right? So fucking he walks out the door, and that side entrance, in comes a lady holding the little kid's hand. And I go, oh no. And he's sitting in the cop car across the street, butt ass naked, just sitting in the fucking cop car. Matt Rutherford was
That's
who did
him.
it.
That's
Matt
who it
Rutherford.
was.
That's him.
And so
What a champ.
dude, he comes back out, and next thing you know, he's on fucking Facebook apologizing for doing it, and all that shit. Dude, the picture that you had on your thing was the best because My Zero played that night. Right?
Yep, yeah.
That was your stage when it was just a flash of this dude was hanging his fucking white ass.
Well, yeah, he stood next to me, and I learned the lesson from all my '90s industrial heroes. Which is just like he has his dick out, and I just kind of grabbed it and went like, and he was just like, oh, and like, yeah. Well, what did you think was gonna happen? You know what I mean? I grew up watching those like backstage Marilyn Manson videos. Like,
it's a weeder, grab it.
Yeah, that's happened. That's going. That was the same night too. That like,
ooga.
Yeah. We played like 5 songs, and my wife stabbed a meth head. That guy Joe Rutherford got naked on stage. The guy that was the head of security called his buddy to bring us cocaine, and then that guy got arrested right out in front of the windows. The cops were all there and stuff, and I was like, "Hey, Diesel's dead now," which sucks a lot. But I was like, "Hey, that's not your friend, is it?" "Yeah, it is. Sucks, but what are you gonna do?" or whatever. But yeah, and then like there's a big guy, beating up on people in the pit or whatever, like picking up our friend who's a little person and like throwing him against his will.
Right.
If he was into it, it'd be like lots of fun, but he was not. Like pushing the girls around, and my soon-to-be wife, and then my buddy's girlfriend, who's like a feral little raccoon, like my buddy's girlfriend jumped and grabbed this dude's leather jacket and he's like really tall, so she put all her weight on it and hung down. Alexis had stuck her keys through her fingers, like Jersey style, and just started like wailing into his neck, like blood was just like, and that's when I decided to marry her. But like, then like, so Diesel comes over and just hits dude with a cattle prod, and he drops, and then he calls the cops, and he's like, "Hey, Alexis, John's wife, I ain't going to tell, the cops are coming, and I ain't going to tell them nothing. Why don't you go ahead and go in the back? I'll let you in over there and just wash off your keys."
Right.
Yeah.
Because Diesel was he was a kid that went to the garage and I talked to when he was young, and he grew up to be a guy that worked in the music scene and everything. And then we remembered who each other was at that Betty's, and then let each other get away with murder,
That's awesome. That's awesome. I've had that happen a few times.
That happened in 5 songs.
Oh, man. Isn't that insane, dude? That's absolutely insane.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So get out there and start a band, kids.
Medis were fun, actually.
I love that.
I don't know why did they stop doing the Medis?
Well, I think it was a lot because Bill took a fucking beating on the whole thing. You know what I mean? Everybody. I mean, it was crazy because there was a lot of people that shit on him the first year, and then the second year they were involved in it, and then other people started shitting on him. And then it got to be too much for him. I don't think he was really built for it, man. Honestly, I mean, for one, he wasn't in a band. He was just a fan, and he pushed a lot of his homies. Which, in the second year, I felt like he pushed away from that. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't play favorites the next year. You know what I mean? It was like he was starting to figure it out, and then he was just like, It didn't do it for him anymore, and he took a lot of shit for it, I think, and it was really sad because I really believe that could have been something.
How fast it got big, and I think that like the controversy, I watched it happen. I'm like, this is why this is going to be so big, because it's all that engagement from all of that terrorism. It's like you just have to. I know. But you got to just let it.
See, you've always been super good at leaning into the shit, though. You know what I mean?
It helps.
Like you said it on your podcast before. Like you've done shit that's like satirical. You know what I mean? You're making fun of something that is happening, and the news that you're doing, and it's like you're intentionally trying to be satirical about it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
at the same time, people are going absolutely nuts, and you're going, go ahead. I want you to shit on my, you know what I mean?
So we were just talking about that. You always take the guy who's the wrongest and stupidest about everything, and you can pin that to the top comment. So everyone just shitting down his throat is just so much engagement that now everyone's seeing it. And that was driving the many. Like that was like that second year was so much bigger than the first one, and all that. If you could just handle it, because like that was where like.
If he would have pushed through to the next couple years, he would have. And dude, I felt like the production was like right on the edge of catching it. He was doing things that were kind of, it was the timing. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, these are the nominees, and then it would go glitch, 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 do something, and then the second year it was like bam, it hit it, and then you know what I mean? It was like
it felt put together, and that's the thing. It's like so much stuff is just like someone just has to do it.
Yeah.
If it feels real, it is real, because that's everything you've only ever experienced is a couple of people on drugs going, let's have an award show. And then it's like been going for 70 years and it's like a big, huge deal. It's like, what started this? I'm like, I don't know. Some people jerking each other off. Like that's all anything is. So there's no difference if if you build it, they will come, you know, like, and I wanted it to still be going on now and still showing up to it, you know.
I just thought it was super fun because everybody seemed to show up and have a good time. It's not like, it was the one time that bands could get together without having a show. And the guys that played, it was such a quick set. And everybody was like, fuck yeah. And it energized the room for everybody.
Yeah, we just kind of like, we just moved on. It was like, I'm going to play a few songs and jerk some fat guys off and, you know, go like the next award.
Right.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I wish that it kept going.
Yeah, it was fun, man. Let's actually do another song. We've got, let me see here, the what is it? The Scintilla Project?
Scintilla Project.
Yeah.
I'll give people a little context. This one was actually really wild that we get Stoney and I that are actually in SeXhail. We got just really lucked out and got hired as studio musicians to do this record, and it had a major label budget from Europe, and we actually literally left our jobs and we were in the studio 12 hours a day for 13 days straight making this record, and we were like 2 days in, and the drummer Lionel tells me, he's like, you know, Todd told you who's singing on this, right? And I was like, no. And he goes, well, it's Biff from Saxon. And I'm like, oh, holy shit, you know. And then a couple days later, we're still in the studio, and they're like, well, they told you who's mixing this, right? And I was like, no. And it was like, well, it's Andy Sneap. And for those who don't know Andy Sneap, just go ahead and Google his credits. If you like heavy metal, he's mixed a ton of your records that you love, and he's in Judas Priest now. And
nice.
So yeah, the production is great, and I get to somehow say that I played guitar on a record with Biff from Saxon and a guy from Judas Priest.
That's pretty fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's take a listen, folks. Stick around. We'll be back. Look at that. Just like that, we're back. Dude, that was some serious power metal. That dude's voice is amazing.
Can I say too, like, and they were very gracious when Saxon and Judas Priest came through to the Armory. They gave us tickets and gave us VIP. It was really cool. But Biff, to his credit, obviously him and Andy were producing the vocals and other stuff over there in the UK. When we would be working on that, I swear to God, Biff was one of those guys where, like, he could send back 2 takes in, like, 10 minutes, and 99 times out of 100, you use the first one.
Oh, shit.
You know what I mean? It was just absolutely
Professional
effortless.
shit.
Yeah, you need a whole verse. It's like 30 minutes later. It's like, here's 3 takes if you want to comp them together, but you almost certainly won't need to.
Right?
Yeah.
That's sick, man.
Yeah,
that's an awesome opportunity to be able to do something like that. And you said it had quite a budget, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it was like...
It sounds great.
It was fun making a record the old school way of just, you know what, we're all just holed up in the studio 12 hours a day, noon to midnight for 2 weeks straight.
Yeah.
Stoney and I would leave at midnight. We'd go back to the house. We'd actually usually stay up till about 2 because we'd have to learn whatever song we're doing tomorrow.
Right.
And it was just, it was almost like making a weird Beatles type record where just every day you come in and it's like, okay, here's the song. We're going to noon to midnight. This thing's going to be fucking done.
What the fuck happened to that, man? Why does that not happen more? You know what I'm saying? Is it
so
just because of the rent?
Profanely expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
There's not enough PTO for the revolution, my friend.
Right.
It's just not happening.
Right.
But I will say, John and I mean, we tried to do a lot of that on this SeXhail record again, where, having real drums, real guitar amps, John's got an analog Moog, using talk boxes, and
that was a surprise to me, man. I thought that was cool as shit when I saw you pop that out. I was like,
really?
What? No way, that's vicious.
I used the talk box probably 3 or 4 times on the album.
Yeah, you got some real good use out of it, and I love that you actually, like, I love a good, like, kind of just like a standard vocoder or whatever, but the talk box is a completely different animal, and you made really, really good use out of it because the ability of some people to make that really cheesy is unprecedented. Right. But, like, the decisions that you made with it and stuff were very, like, again, it's like, I think,
they're intentional.
Yeah. Again, it's like Chris and I work together well because it's just like, I think both of us have pretty good taste and are not afraid to say if something's dumb, but not afraid to be like, well, this is good. Let's just get weird with it.
Yeah.
You made the analogy you made earlier too, man, where you just learned how to dance without stepping on each other's toes. That is a perfect example, or a perfect analogy for that thing too, man. If you allow somebody to expand and do their thing, and it's not not a problem, and to have that ability to fucking just go, I'm not too cool with that one. It's not. I mean, try again.
Yeah, there's always a million ways to skin a cat.
Right.
I was going to say, too, is to his point, Stoney and I did a lot of solos on the record, too, but I love guitar solos. I love having a huge solo section, but I, like, oftentimes think back to, there was, like, an interview with Dimebag where he's like, I don't do a solo in a song unless it takes the song to another level.
Right.
Unless it does something for the song. Yeah. And, I think, like, we did a really good job of that, I think, and I mean, certainly, like, John had a role in that too in terms of the arrangements, but also, like, John's got some like straight up piano solos on this, straight up synth solos.
Sure.
We had a friend of ours lay down an actual saxophone solo.
Yes,
that's killer.
Like an actual, like, Lost Boys, I still believe. Fucking, yeah,
the
sax
Tim
solo.
Capella? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Capello?
It's so, that song might be the next video too. Like,
yeah, I think that's the other one I sent you. I don't know if I sent you a second one. But
second tune?
Yeah.
You sent me a second tune.
Oh, yeah.
I hope so.
Well, then, yeah, that is the one.
That one has like choirs and saxophone solos and shit on it. Like, it's like it is that, like, it doesn't sound like Queen, but it's that that idea of going like that far.
Right.
We're just like, oh, we just need more, and none of it feels.
No,
like, it's too much. It's just kind
Dead
of like,
Kings, right? That's what you're talking about. Yeah, okay.
Doesn't feel
that's
forced.
The one we got. Yep.
That is one of my favorites on there, and, like, it's just like that unabashed soul of what you consider to be, like, rock and roll or whatever. It's like just fits together nicely.
So I was going to ask you. I mean, is this a studio project, or is this something you guys will be doing some live shows and getting out to do some stuff, or what?
I would say my quickest answer to that is probably just studio. I would never shut the door of doing it live, and I imagine you'd probably be in this boat too, where it's like, you know, if somebody's willing to throw enough money at it,
sure,
you know,
sure,
is one thing. But I it's not. I don't want to make it seem like it's about that, but it's more about the idea that, like, I don't think I would want to throw this out there live unless we could do it the right way.
Yeah.
Put some production into it and make it cool.
And that's where, again, I'm not saying it's, you know, none of us would be in it necessarily because we're trying to just like cash out. But I wouldn't want to just go do it just to do it.
Right. So it'd have to be the right situation.
It'd have to be the right situation, I think.
Yeah, gotcha.
But other than that, I think, like, I don't know, I like the idea of studio stuff now too. You know, it's cool.
But is it really studio stuff if you're doing videos too? Because it is still has the visual aspect of it and makes it that much. I mean,
yeah.
Dude, video.
That's the fun that makes it possible. Like, it makes the idea. It does leave the door open of like, well, there's real guys that played everything. It wasn't just him and, you know, with programs and, you know, whatever. It's like there's real drums. Borley's, we got his phone number.
Right.
Like everyone's around and everything, but it is kind of like, if you think about the reality of, like, you know, it looks really cool and it could be really cool, but it's like, I think we would agree that we wouldn't want to do it unless, like, you know, it's like, oh, there's like glitter cannons and, like, you know, it's like playing at, like, you know, I love Club Underground and everything, but it's like, I don't think I would want to do that in front of 4 people there. If enough interest came up, because it's like, oh, it's pressed on vinyl. You know, at some point in the future, there's like 3 music videos. They're all some of my favorite stuff I've ever seen. It's like, let's throw something together with these guys. It's like, I think everyone would be like, all right with that idea.
Right.
But just, you know, being like with your hat in hands, like, can we play this show? It's
Right.
like, yeah. I think I have TV shows to
each
catch
one
up
of you
on.
guys have been doing it long enough too that it just wouldn't seem too feasible if you're starting all over to do that. You know what I mean? To play first.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
The thing too is, like, we were looking at ironically, that Head Charge poster you got on the wall there. That was your first show with Blue Felix, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was also September 6th is my birthday, so I was turned 33 that day, and that's the one where I, like, threw that entire broken keyboard into the crowd and stuff. And, like, it started the whole mess.
And that's what I was gonna say. Is not, you know, I don't want to be necessarily have this come across in a snooty way, although I don't really care. But at this point, but like John and I, it's like we've already played First Avenue many times.
Right.
We've played the Myth. We've played, you know, everywhere that I could have wanted it. We played the fucking. I played the Whiskey.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And
like the Machine Shop, sold out.
Shop, yeah. You know, Reggie's in Chicago. There's just so many really fun.
It's a great place to play.
Reggie's
oh
is
my
the
god,
shit.
If for those that
Been a
don't know
long time.
Reggie's, there's literally a place called Reggie's Rock Club, and they have my favorite slogan ever on the outside. It says, "We're not happy till you're not happy."
I always loved when you guys played the Machine Shop. The photos were always just badass. I knew you guys would always have a good time. It's like the first time I seen you guys go out there all together and like have this big thing and all these photos dropped. It just looked like you guys had so much fucking fun and you were taken care of. And
Michigan's wild too. That you know, I think it's one of those places that after what happened to Detroit in the late 2000s, and just, you know, a lot of. It really, what I love about Michigan is so much of Michigan seems like it's beyond politics almost, and it's just they just hate the government, and I love it.
They've been forgotten by everything that was ever supposed to keep things right.
Yes, and that obviously is horrendous, but it really it made those people fucking hard. Yeah, you know,
they love art. That's the one thing they love art in every medium, dude. Out there, I don't know, you know, it's just something about that area.
And I say that affectionately because when we would go to Flint or Detroit, it's like those crowds are fucking incredible.
Right.
I mean, they're so engaged and everybody's always having a great time. But you also get this vibe. Like, I think Blue Felix always really popped there because it leaned into a lot of that type of anger. I don't know if I'm wording that right.
It leaned into the, like, fuck it, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
That you get from being in a trench together, basically. Like,
I feel like you know, Detroit in that area, you know, it was so fucking, you know, ripped apart from, you know, all the businesses being stripped out of there pretty much.
The bottom falling out.
It seems like to me like you guys always had like this apocalyptic fucking, you know, whoop whoop fucking road warrior type thing. You roll in on a crazy bus, everybody gets out, everybody's crazy doing crazy shit. I think that Detroit is very apocalyptic like that, and I think you guys fit that whole vibe.
Yeah.
I think that gravity. I could see it just online. You know what I'm saying? Like, I even asked Jake. I think like maybe the second or third time you guys are going out there, I was like, dude, I want to come with. That would have been fucking great.
There's some wild fucking spots out there that were so fun. We played the first time we played there was this place called Blondie's. I don't know if it's still there in Detroit, but you pull up and it's like there's like windows boarded up and like this window's broken out and like this is just like where you play and then you walk inside and it's
a regular venue
and it's fucking awesome and the crowd shows up and I don't know. It's a weird place. I love Michigan.
There was a place that SMB played with this thing called Stolen Babies, which was like this really cool like art rock kind of crazy thing. Their drummer Gil I ended up kind of making friends with, and he went on to be the drummer for the Dillinger Escape Plan for a while.
Nice.
And now he was and then kind of dropped out. And now he's back since dude cleaned up a bit, but he's been Manson's drummer for like 5 or 6 years or whatever. And like, but their original band was super cool, but we played with them at it was called like the iRock or something.
Oh,
and
the iRock, yep.
It had like Tron arcade machines in it, and they were like like a really industrial friendly place, but it sounded because the pictures was like Skinny Puppy on the wall and stuff.
What year was that?
By the time we were doing that with them, we were almost done. So it was like 2011 or 12 or something. Like I think
we played.
I'm sure you guys played there before.
We played there before you were in the band, but I remember iRock specifically because when we played there, they literally told us they're like you pull up, you load in, and then they're like you got to take the trailer back to the hotel. You just can't leave it there because
it'll be gone.
Yeah, somebody will come along with bolt cutters during your set
and just take your
like
shit.
Clockwork. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, that was a cool venue though.
It was nice. It sounded good and everything. But I remember the other owner had the full like blonde like bangs cut, like feathered, but like just slimy dude, and he was like so into like everything we were. I'm sure he was way into what Blue Felix was doing. You know what I mean? Like he's just like. He's like probably sees, like, to pay the bills. We got some like Karate Kick hardcore bands, and there's probably some like wannabe Shinedowns and just whatever. And then every once in a while, there's something like all fucked up and gross that he's just like, yeah.
I had never seen the Karate Kick mosh until the first time I saw it was in a Psycho Stick pit.
Yeah.
Some kids started doing it, which was kind of wild.
Ironic almost.
Yeah.
Doing it there. Because I guess it would be funny by then.
It's just ridiculous, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I find it so crazy because they just take it too. You know what I mean? Fuckers going crazy and whoop 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 pop gets socked upside the head. And they're like,
are kids getting knocked out?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Well, there's that crowd killing thing.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Somebody
that's
was
the same Karate Kick shit.
But I think I told you about this, or there was like a picture. But like I was with Ben Hurley at went to go see Death Grips was opening for Ministry, and I'd seen Ministry enough, but it was at the Skyway. I want to see Death Grips live because was just so weird and wild, and the lights were off. They had like Death Grips' whole light show is they only had laser pointers on all their fingers, like, and there was just everything was dark. That was they did nothing but that. And it was so disjointed and weird. And someone was like running around doing the crowd killing thing, and like I kind of caught that it was happening, and I was kind of on the back of the open
slope,
circle.
Yeah,
and it's like your eyes adjust, and he's like coming around again, like hitting people, like hitting girls and stuff. And so like I waited for him and just got him, and like I got lucky, but I just all my weight, everything I had, back of my fist, just right in the off button, just boom! Like I had a thing on my hand for a while. It was like swollen.
Yeah.
And like like Ben just did this to me and was like, all right, we're gonna we just like went up to the bar and kind of watched, and then when Ministry came on, we were like, we should maybe get out of here.
Yeah.
But I was like telling this story, and people were like, wow, man, you like really did the right thing there. I was like punching a teenager in the dark like that, I guess. Like break my hand. I was like 33, but like, yeah, but it was like, it's like, well, I don't want to get hit. And I'm like, maybe I'll block now. Maybe I'll just swing with everything. I could have missed.
Oh yeah.
I could have pissed him off. Maybe he'd beat me up. I don't know, but I just
Oh yeah. I've been the guy in the pit giving people elbows for that stupid shit. Hurting people and women and knocking people over. And
I believe you're that guy. I think I've seen it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Guaranteed. John, what have you been doing lately, man? Like what? Just besides this project, like I know you do a lot of video stuff, or you did for a while. What? You still doing a ton of that stuff?
No. I started a new religion.
Yeah,
that was a thing. So I work I kind of stopped doing the freelance thing. I work where Chris blows glass.
Yeah.
At Minnesota Legit, and I'm like kind of the AV
awesome
media guy there. It's like a really good fit, and it's like a pretty we're opening a bunch of dispensaries. It's a pretty laid back,
very cool.
Yeah, we have fun.
White collar. It's a green collar job.
Yeah.
But
that's sweet.
That's day job, and then I've been making a blues record because I don't know how to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like So like when I was doing SMB, like everything that was, because we started in 1997, was me being like, well, I don't, how do you make, like I would hear Nine Inch Nails or Mindless Self-Indulgence or System of a Down. Well, how do you do that with no money or internet or idea?
Right.
And so what came out was us trying as hard as we could. And that band evolved into something that was kind of interesting, but like so getting to be unlistenably crazy, because it's like, well, now we can just do anything, and we getting into the 2013, with a home studio, everyone there is so good at what they do. It's like, well, the sky's the limit. We're not pushing an envelope, and we're just running in circles around it now. And and then Blue Felix had its own specific sound, so I'm like, okay, well, I have to work within those confines. I can't like just turn it into something completely crazy. I got to work with Chris and Jake and be like, all right. So that was like a really good exercise for me. And I did my Zero for a while, which was just me jerking off and being a Nine Inch Nails fan and whatever. And then now I'm like, well, how do I like recreate pushing an envelope? And I'm like, well, doing something I don't know how to do at all, which is making a blues album, like a Tom Waits blues record, and having like horns on it and having it in all these weird gospel.
Now, are you using some of the same musicians, like the guy who did the sax solo and things like that? Or
so the only other live musician on it is Chris, because he's a phenomenal every kind of guitar player, which not everyone. So you get to shift gears a little bit and do something that's a little out of your realm, or do you like to play blues on a regular? Or what?
I love to play the blues.
No shit.
I think that's probably like a weird little side hobby of mine that like nobody knows about.
Well, I do. Yeah.
But yeah, I grew up listening to a lot of that kind of stuff. Buddy Guy, Freddie King, Stevie Ray Vaughan,
right?
A lot of that stuff, and I think that's really what shaped a lot of where I kind of came from as a guitar player. Jimi Hendrix was another huge one too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like riff wise, that's a different story when you're playing rock music. But the type of stuff that John's putting together with that is
standardish type stuff.
Well, I don't know if that's the word I would use.
Well, I mean, blues standardish kind of. You know what I mean? Like in the same vein, or does it have a rock and roll feel to it?
There's definitely some 12-bar blues to it, but there's a lot of different layers and complexities that I feel like are still kind of psychedelic and
interesting. It's I'm wallowing in the mud of every influence that I don't normally use.
Right. Okay.
So there's like a lot of Tom Waits. For one, like I thought this would be stupid,
right?
Because I'm like, it was a bit of a stretch to be like, I'm just gonna do it in that voice. Yeah. I was like, oh man, I created evil. You take what you can get, and like everyone's like, I like that. I expected a lot of flack, but it was like, no, do that. That's fun. Whatever. Like some ladies singing backup on it, so there's smoother parts and everything. But like, it's just me going like, what if like Tom Waits was like a punchy, slightly harder. Like, what if Tom Waits got amped up to like, what am I?
Less than heroin, fucking.
Yeah, it's very heroin-y too. Parts of it are. There's like some of those saxophone solos are like this very dying in a bathtub, Pink Floyd, kind of thing. But
moody.
Yeah. Who am I? Why am I spacing this? Clutch. Like, what if Tom Waits was kind of like singing for a version of Clutch that didn't really have power chords in it and just had more like piano and saxophones and whatever. Right. And I was listening to a lot of Morphine, and the baritone saxophone in that and whatever. And like, just all these things that didn't work its way into kind of the normal heavy industrial strata that I kind of deal with. So I'm like, it's a challenge.
But obviously you were kind of mixing some shit up in your head if you're
and I'm learning now, you know what I mean? Like I'm learning more about like what sets of like seventh, chords and stuff go together and like, everything like that. And like I should have brought it, I guess. But one of the first things was Chris has just been working on a blues song, and I'm like, well, I've been making some of this stuff. So like if that never, if you have all the guitars and everything and it never exactly got put together or whatever, I'll just take that and like put whatever rhythm sections and things, and I'll yell over it and rearrange it and then have you go back over it. And like that kind of became one of the flagship songs. It's just this, that one's called Empty Promised Land. It's very like sad hobo. Like,
dude, do you just write shit like that all the time or what? You just have shit laying around like that?
I write a lot of music.
Yeah.
I'm very introverted, I think is the non-serial killer word now. But I sit in my basement a lot. But I love making music, and I have so many, songs like that, but also too, I mean, even the SeXhail stuff, I mean, we're going to release a full album of this now, 10 songs, and it's like, we already have damn near another full album in the tank that just hasn't been mixed yet, but drums have been recorded, everything's all there.
Do you have a tentative release date yet?
So I will say with that, I don't yet, and the only reason being, not to be cagey, but to give people a little insight into how it works, because I'm learning all this now. This is the first time I've ever printed an album to vinyl.
Yeah.
And
it takes a while, doesn't it?
It takes a while, yeah. Right now, it may be as long as 12 weeks.
No shit.
But the way that process works is obviously you got to put together all the artwork. It's a little different in terms of the audio as well, because obviously when you're printing to vinyl, as opposed to CD or iTunes, you're getting different files of each individual song. For the vinyl, it's one audio file for side A and one for side B. And
now, what do they press it on these days though? Wasn't it like a glass copy first or something? Shit like that?
Yeah, lacquers. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Essentially, they make you your master lacquers, which are the actual grooves.
Yeah.
The lacquers sit on the top and the bottom of the press, and then when they actually just the little weird machine poops out a string of vinyl or whatever it is, and then
they usually take it and they put the glob on there, and then they put the top on it, and they smash it.
Yep, and the two labels go on for side A and side B. Right? Yep, and then they cut it after the fact. But then also part of that process too it's in the works right now is once they kind of get a couple of them done, they send you what are known as test pressings. And then, John and I will probably take those. You listen to them, you check all the artwork, make sure nothing needs to be changed. And then, then they go to production, and it just, vinyl kind of takes a while. Right. But at this point, I don't really have any time frame that I need to rush it for. I don't have a tour coming up or shows. And so I think like it was something I always wanted to do. And I wish I could come on here right now and say, oh, it's going to be this date. But because they're so far out, I don't want to just like throw a date out there and then all of a sudden shit gets delayed or whatever else. So, but
it's cool. It's cool that you're putting out material and you guys are doing videos to keep people.
Absolutely. We started talking about some different ideas for a second video that I don't know that we have too much hashed out yet, but we've kind of kicked around some ideas and.
I like the one idea a lot. The misunderstanding about what kind of church the guys.
Oh yeah.
I think that's a winner for me.
Would you go to a church of drugs?
It depends. I mean, probably. Mm-hmm. Just to see what's up. Yeah, I think I probably would.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Now, do I have to be on drugs when I go there? I mean, or do you do them there?
You will be by the time you leave.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah.
So would the pastor walk around with one of those little incense cones with weed flying out of it, or like fucking
that's what
opium or something?
That's actually,
that was
that
weed
idea.
originally. That is what that was. Yeah. Back, I'm sure it was like crappy weed.
Right.
That was the point of that thing apparently originally. I've been looking into all this stuff.
Remember crappy weed? That was.
We used to call it the brown frown, dude.
Oh,
the brickweed that when you busted it apart,
swag.
It was so smashed together that you when you had it in your shoebox or whatever, you're like taking your card and the fucking beaters were smashed so hard that they wouldn't even roll down. You'd have to pick them all out of there.
You could get the buds and wring them out like a washcloth and watch all the little beans hit the.
Yeah.
Oh, after at least it became legal, my parents they grew some weed and like it turned out it looked like an ad from a High Times magazine from the 70s.
Yeah.
Like it looked like what good weed looked like then, which was like seeds and
Stringy
ribbony. But it was, I had some of it. It was like fine because it was the seeds that his buddy Montana Jake, who was like won world records for genetics or whatever, like, but you still have to grow them like super perfectly, and they're just like growing them outside. But it was weed. Like I smoked some of it, and I'm like, I'm high. Like, all right, this definitely worked. But their weed took me back. I was like, wow, this is like 90s. You guys made 90s weed.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep. So we're gonna probably shoot another video with some
Weed in it?
crappy 90s weed.
Well, yeah.
Nice.
I'll ask my folks if they have any more.
So how is that now? If people don't know, and you kind of alluded to it earlier about the glass work, you've been blowing glass for quite a long time too, haven't you?
It's been over 20 years.
Damn, dude.
It's that.
You got to count on how many pieces you made.
You want to know what we've talked about and joked about? I might have told you this, that we've joked about this at the shop, that going back, obviously, I started in 2003. I was 19. The question is not how many have I made, because that's well into the tens of thousands. I mean, I couldn't even put a cap on it. But what I do want to know is how many pieces I've made personally that are sitting in the basement evidence room of different police departments.
It's got to be a
Because it's
lot.
a lot.
No shit, dude.
You know, I mean, I know of several of friends, you know, back in, obviously it's not as big of a deal now. And, you know, thankfully, I think Minneapolis has been a pretty cool city about that for a long time, where they don't seem like they're really harassing people about it. But, but yeah, it's, you know, I started in 2003, and I started at Minnesota Legit in 2010, and have been there now for 15 years. And
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, we brought John in a couple of years ago, and does a lot of AV stuff. I don't know how else to characterize it. Advertising,
Yeah,
a lot of different
media, social media,
social media stuff.
If you see a poster or an Instagram video or whatever it is, it was probably me.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
and it's
but we got a great crew of people down there. There's like, I think we got 7 glass blowers right now. We do a ton of classes. You know, which I'll shamelessly plug. Like, people can go to stonearchglassstudio.com or minnesotalegit.com. You can find out information about taking classes from us. Also, like, a lot of my work is available there online now. Which is,
you got them all. You got them all over a bunch of different shops too, right?
Yeah. So Minnesota Legit is also, we're partnered with the Hideaway, and there's several Hideaways around. I would just say Google it, because the main stores are Dinkytown, Apple Valley, but gosh, there's so many now. I can't even think.
There's like even one over here.
There might be.
of them
I was gonna say, I think we're up over 10.
Yeah.
So
there's a couple in Wisconsin.
So you guys are, I mean, if there's did you say 6 or 7 blowers right now?
Yep.
So you guys are pumping pieces out all nonstop.
Constantly.
That's basically how how it goes. It's like we've even done like okay, so like we're gonna do like a themed. We had the Raven line where it was like all black or black and clear or whatever, and it was like pretty and that was like actually pretty successful. Like where it's like, oh yeah, here's a bunch of like spiky whatever, you know, just all
That's
using
kind of your
black
forte
glass
too,
and,
though, right? You've done some really cool pieces, man. Some twisted, wicked looking shit.
I think it's, you know, it's one of those things like music too, where you do it long enough and you develop your own little taste and style. But yeah, it's I think, like, I've always said it's a weird art, because most other art, and again, this is not better, but there's something weird about making glass pipes, even as opposed to other glass, where it's rare that you have art that you have a physical connection to.
Right.
You know?
Right.
You can
you're using it regularly.
Yeah, where you're actually, you know, picking it up and holding it in your hands, and you know, people name them like they name their
Wesley
fucking
Pipes,
cats.
man.
Yeah. Billy Bong Thornton.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
No, I ran into a glass blower in Sioux Falls a couple of years ago at Slam Dakota, as a matter of fact, and I was trying to tell him a design that I had picked up from a glass blower from Minneapolis years and years ago, up to 2000, 2001. And I described to him, and he's like, oh, yeah, they used to do these little spoons like this all the time. And he's explaining it to me, and he's like, making it sound like it'd be really easy. And he's like, yeah, that'd take me a while to do. I don't know. You know, I haven't done one like that in a long time, you know. But that was one of those pipes that I had for so long that when I broke it, and I remember tapping it on the window as I was driving, just and it just broke, and I went, no, and I was so fucking bummed out. I'd had it for so damn long, you know.
One more shameless plug. We do repairs.
Nice. I wish I still had that thing. I would have definitely repaired it. It's something I had for a long time.
You know, the most repairs that get brought in to be asked about or whatever when I'm talking to the gals in the office or whatever is the pipe, because it was somebody who they smoked with all the time that had like died or whatever, and then it was like, oh, I broke this thing, and those are the ones who's like, we'll try to fix it, like no matter how fucked up it is, like we'll try.
Right.
It's like big time.
Have you had any like bad fixes like that or anything? Do you do repairs like that?
I mean, we tend to generally always do a repair if we can.
Oh, nice.
You know, I would say there's certain types of brakes where, you know, we can just look at it and it's
too thin or something.
Well, a lot of times it'll be the type of thing where, okay, I can fix this, but the amount of time and labor it's going to take is going to cost more than just making a new one.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, and sometimes they're just, you know, glass is weird. The way it breaks is never the same.
Right.
You know, no matter how you drop it. And so, yeah, I think we have to take that usually on a case-by-case basis.
Right.
Just being able to look at it and then visualize in our head what it's going to take.
Dude,
to
you know, being able to try to match that. You guys have been doing it a long time. I'm sure that that's one of those things, too. You just got all kinds of colors and shit everywhere, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we have a huge palette of colors. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a...
I've always wanted to learn how to blow glass.
We had a blacklight show.
Yep.
Like we like at a separate location or whatever, was all the stuff they did that glows under blacklight, and we had DJs and things, and like
that was fun. That was like a passion project. I made a UV glass chess set.
Nice.
Yeah, that was super amazing.
How long did that take you?
It took a hot minute making all the pieces. You know, I think it was initially was like kind of a few extra pieces of each individual piece, because I was trying to kind of decide, okay, what design do I like for the pawn? What do I like for the rooks and for the knights? And then, yeah, we cut a piece of sheet glass, and John actually did up some artwork for the chessboard part of it and put the Minnesota Legit logo, and nice. I was able to tape everything off and then sandblast the actual checkerboard pattern, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was, I would say though, like it was the better part of probably a couple of weeks.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was definitely the
tedious,
most I've ever bit off, but yeah, it was
How
definitely
big were
worth
your
it.
pieces when you were doing them?
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
like the kings and queens.
yeah,
were
kings
like
and
that,
queens
maybe.
are probably like that. Yeah,
How big were your rooks?
a little smaller.
Okay.
I could show you pictures too at some point too. I got some cool pictures of
Sick.
it. Actually, well, I should say John got some cool pictures of it, but
Yeah,
It's
because
cool
I
that-
think you just put the clear board on like on top of like maybe like a blacklight table, and then all the pieces would glow and stuff.
Oh,
It was, like,
gotcha.
pretty neat. It's like playing Star Trek.
It's cool
chess.
that you're getting involved or being able to use the art, you know, help them with the artwork too. That's badass.
Yes, we have, because there's like all these different things that we sort of have that can augment things. Like one of them is like sandblasting, and we've made like a social media video that like really illustrates how like that works like pretty well. You made like kind of a pentagram pendant thing where you can, you know, you put tape and a design that's cut out of a vinyl cutter machine
Right,
that
gotcha.
I have to like
Yep,
run or whatever,
yep.
and then like. You know, the whole thing will be shiny except for the part that's exposed, but then you can also go harder into it, so it'll actually like start digging channels into it, and if you have a different color layer underneath, then you start seeing the different color come through if you like
sick.
really bulldoze into it, and we can pretty much, with like the vinyl cutter stuff, do kind of whatever, and you just peel that off and, you know, put
Yeah,
it over
mold it
like a
to it, yeah.
template and
Yeah.
kind of go and do some real weird shit.
Fuck yeah, man. That's fucking badass, man. This is sweet, man. You guys got a lot of shit on your plate all the time. It's great to hear about all this stuff, man. It sucks that it's so few and far between with years as far as getting you guys back on here. Now, and when you're done with your solo stuff and you got that ready to go, or you're gonna put that blues album, man, come back on.
I definitely will.
Let's play some shit.
Really
Talk some shit again.
I'm really excited about it, and it's a pipe dream.
Yeah.
But like, you know, the SeXhail thing is kind of like if they build it, we will come, you know, a little bit with like the live things. Like the blues thing, I would like to just see if I can get away with it a couple of times, because it's a lot to, you know, it's like, can I find like enough people, like a brass section and some like chicks that are willing to like, and I want it's called Old Man Wheeler and the Bums. And, I want everyone to be dressed like a hobo. And if I have backup singer chicks, I want them to look like, like runny mascara and rips in their sequin dress, like just like a whole fucking mess, and then see if we can actually get it at the Dakota Jazz Club or something.
Like they just left a gangbang?
Yeah, like I got like black eyes and like I'm, dressed probably like this, except for with crap all over me, just be like, help me, fucking, it just kind of see how the other half lives, be like, can we get booked at a thing that they wouldn't let a rock band at?
Right.
I was just going to say, can you imagine if they let us into Dakota Jazz Club?
Something like that, yeah. Something classy, and we just kind of like they listen to the record, and they're like, yeah, this makes sense, and then the stage thing's just a nightmare, like I just want to do that to yank the chain a little bit someday, no matter how much it costs me, man? Whatever. But I'm not gonna, be like, and then after that we're gonna do all these weekends, and nah. But at least just a couple times, just to see how it goes a little bit, And so that'll be a thing eventually. But I'm gonna take my sweet time.
So I wanted to kind of ask you guys. I'm sure you and everybody else heard about Joe Spanbauer just recently.
Yeah.
Any good stories about Joe or anything, man? Any kind of
man, it's I feel like I we did so many shows with Joe over the years that, and it's so weird, is like you become friends with people, and it's really tough, especially like the amount of time that me and John have been doing this, and you too. It's like you see people come and go, and Joe was somebody that absolutely just made anybody laugh at any time. I would talk to him on the phone, I feel like maybe once every 2 years. For some reason, he and I would end up on the phone for some kind of just conversation about some show we're putting together, and it would just immediately devolve into pure nonsense where both of us were like laughing so hard there's like, I don't even know what the fuck you called me for.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, he just great sound guy too. Every show that we did with him, I feel like was exactly what it was supposed to be. The production was great, the sound was great, the band went on stage on time.
Yeah.
He was absolutely, and I say this in the most endearing way, willing to absolutely yell at any opening band that he had to make sure that the headliner went on stage at the right time. And it just I'm really glad everybody was. I was sad I wasn't able to make it to the benefit, but I'm glad that they were able to do something like that and get so many people together.
What a
like
trip
that.
too, man. It was such a good vibe in the room, man. It was such a great day, dude. It really, really was. It was such a cool vibe, and just being able to, I was probably, I don't really know how many people actually got to see him or talk to him, but I was really fortunate to be able to give him a hug, one last time and shit. And he affected me, dude. I mean, 3 decades.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
3 decades of running with that dude and seeing him everywhere. And, he always took care of us, man.
Yep.
You knew you were in a good spot. If you saw him at the board, you knew your night was great.
Yep.
He started my career.
Yeah.
And I mean, so SMB was in the very early parts of it, where it was almost starting to sound like something.
Yeah.
We were playing at Sharky's Underground to nobody except for Joe on like a Tuesday or whatever it was. But he was like, I just had this other band come through from Chicago called Tubbering, and they tour all over the place and whatever. And it's like, you guys should like hook up with them because you guys have a weird sound or whatever. And and we did. And it was through them that we met all those other weird bands that we would like go on the road with, like Retardobot from Florida and the Sump Pumps from Indiana. And it was through those guys that we ended up on that Mindless Self-Indulgence tour where we were playing to like 2,500 people a night for like a month or so. Yeah. And then it was after that we were like the SMB that was like kind of doing shit. It directly was Spanbauer's like, hey, I have a burned CD from this thing. You should call probably the phone number or whatever on the back then in like 2002 or something.
Yeah.
And like, and you, I think, blah, blah, blah. He heard it. He was like, hang on. Like, this thing I saw is like this thing, and I think these guys could help these guys or whatever. And he didn't have to fucking do that.
Right.
Yeah.
He could have just been like, it's Tuesday. I'm here in my gray sweatpants. I don't give a flying fuck about, whatever. I'm just going to cash my check and go home. Yeah. But no, he was just like, sat through our set. It probably wasn't great. And he was like, I hear something here though, and he went out of his way a little bit, and it's like absolutely. And ever since then, I've always. Like he said, it's like whenever you see him behind the soundboard, you're like, this is going to be great. I mean, we would hire him outright for CD releases and
somebody just told,
town,
I think it was Dave Stasny from Banehinge was talking about that. He was relaying a story about that same type of thing where, he played in a band early, and then Banehinge came around, and then they begged him to kind of manage him and mentor him a little bit, and then they started getting a lot of big gigs and things like that. It's like he just put them in the right spot every time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
And there's so many of us that he had done that for.
He's like the older brother to the
big time.
Minnesota metal scene that was just kind of.
He was willing to hit you in the back of the head, but because he wanted you to do it right. Like, you know what I mean? It was that kind of thing, and we all needed that.
Yeah.
Oh, he was like the guy that, you know what I mean? He didn't give you the I'm really disappointed in you type thing. You know what I mean? He gave you. There's something about Joe that pushed you along. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It was never a derogatory thing. It was always like a constructive criticism, if it was, at least for me in that situation. And like through all the years at Ryan's and geez, I was trying to think of all the clubs. It was Ryan's.
The Urban Wildlife was a really funny one.
Underground, right? And then he did Spanky's that was down on 7th down there below the bridge. He did Club Underground, or no, not Club Underground, but what was the
Urban Wildlife?
Urban Wildlife.
That weird experiment downtown.
What was the thing that he had over in the Star Bar? He did the Star Bar.
The very, very large place for small shows.
Yeah,
but it was cool. It had all the lights in the world and everything. Like you felt like a big.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about Joe over the years is that I love people that always have like a same saying for certain situations. And when the singer had their own wireless mic, he'd be like, "All right, superstar." Like every time, if you just use the dented Shure mic at the club, he'd just be like, "All right, let's get the vocals." But then as soon as Greg Moog pulled it, he's like, "Okay, superstar, let's get your." Just back when long enough ago, those were kind of expensive. It's like, oh, yeah, all right. He held on to that for as long as I remember working with him.
Yeah, I remember getting my first wireless, and he gave me shit about it. Yeah, I was always this hooked in 58 guy. You know what I'm saying? And he did the same thing. All right, fucking rock star, let's go.
Yeah. Love that so much. I love the commitment to this is my thing. This is my thing I say when this is happening.
Yeah,
and it's like he's not wrong to say it either.
Yeah,
I don't think.
What a fucking loss, man! It's felt. I said something about it earlier today, man. That it's always really tough to see your feed light up with tributes to somebody. But again, in his case, it was like it's like equivalent to, I don't know if you remember when we were kids. You go to or you see a funeral and the funeral line is fucking forever long. You know what I'm saying? Yep. His benefit was like that. There was people coming and going, dude. I was like 2 blocks away from the fucking venue. You know what I'm saying? So it was great to see that. But the tributes were like tough to watch all day, but it was like a genuine thing of what type of guy he was, and he affected so many fucking people. I mean, from every aspect of music, the cover bands and just everybody, man. There was not a hateful fucking vibe in that benefit. It was pretty crazy, man. And there were some people, and I was telling my buddy, I was like, there are people there that I haven't seen in 30 years, and I could give a shit less if I ever saw them again. But we shook hands and hugged it out. You know what I'm saying? It was a crazy vibe, man. And I fucking, he hugged me like I saw him, and you want to remember people vibrant in the way I had anxiety going. I made it there. I was in the room. I shook hands with people. I loved on people. We talked history and all this crazy shit. And I'm like, hey, has anybody seen Joe? And they're like, he's out on the patio. He's sitting by his son, whatever. So I go out on the patio, and I couldn't even get near him,
Yeah.
But you're looking at a guy that you've known 30-plus years, and you're seeing him sick. You know what I mean? It's tough to watch it. Yeah. And I got more anxiety. I was just like, fuck, man. I was telling Josh Kellerman, I was like, why am I having such a hard time right now? And it's hard. It's legit. It happens, right? Yeah. So then I walk in the door, and he had already gone in, and he was right there, dude. And I'm sitting next to him. I'm standing right next to him, and I just put my hand on his back, and I just rubbed one time, dude. And he just looked up at me, and just leaned in. You know what I'm saying? It was just so natural, man. And the thing he said to me just snapped me. It was just like, I'm gonna miss you, bro. That's what he said. He's like, I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you so much. And I was just like, it choked me up so hard, and I just all I did was thank him. That was it. I was like, thank you for just being a good motherfucker
We're
for
all gonna
all
miss
these
him,
years.
for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure, dude. Yeah. And I got across the crowd. Like, I had to make it through the crowd. I was just choking, dude. And I met this dude, Lou Foltz, I met him, I want to say about 6 years ago, maybe, you know. And he's friends with a bunch of people. But this dude looked at me, doesn't know me like, you know, some folks do. And he's like, you all right? And I was like, no, I'm not, man.
Yeah.
You know, and the dude just fucking grabbed me and he hugged me. And he hugged me like he was not going to let me go. And it almost made me uncomfortable, but then I leaned into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I fucking need this right now.
Yep.
Holy shit. And then he's like, he leaned back. He's like, you all right? And I was like, I got to go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom. I fucking bawled for like 10 minutes, man. Just shot me down, dude. I was just choking. And I came out, and as I was walking, you know, you see people you meet from shows from past and all this other shit. The guy was giving me praise for something, and I was so choked up that I had to walk away, but I felt horrible about it, right? Yeah. So I come back out, and I could tell, you know, my eyes are starting to swell up, and I'm just like, ugh. And I looked at him, and I said, hey, man, I apologize for walking away from you, man, but I need, and he's like, dude, it's all good, man. And he gave me a hug, too. It was like, there's so much love in the room, man. Yeah. It was just one of those things, man. It was just a trip. And I told somebody, Veronica, who was in your video, you know, I said, I met you through Joe at Pov's, you know, and she was like, he took care of his people. And I'm like, I'm so fucking thankful that I was one of his people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All of us can say that in this room. You know what I mean? Like,
no, it is true.
So great to see him anytime too, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Yeah, it you know, it's like rare when you have kind of that like repeating joy of, you know, or just like, hey, this guy's here, because, you know, it's like, sometimes just shows are like the fucking pits, and you're like, well, Spambauer's here, so like that's something. Now this is better. This is better than it was. All right, this would probably be kind of cool now, like and that you know, that's worth a lot, because it's like that environment is like a little bit of a trench. You know, so you just find those like golden people every once in a while. Plus, he gave us one final gift. He upstaged Conrad from First Ave, so we don't have to think about that guy dying anymore, because that guy sucked. You know?
Yeah.
He was a fucking dick.
See, now here's
every time you saw Conrad, I felt the opposite of how I felt when I saw Joe.
Here's the thing. Now I can say that from the beginning, because like I've known that dude about as long as Joe, and I felt that way for the first like 20 years I knew that guy. He was fucking get the fuck out of my way. You're in the way constantly. Like, even if you were cool to him, he was a jerk off to you. But then there was one time, dude, that
broke through,
that I worked with him at one time, and I snapped back at him, and I was just like, listen, dude, I don't know what your fucking problem is. You know what I mean? Like, every time I see you, you've got an attitude with me, and I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? And from that point on, he was like, hey, how's it going, man? And I was like, how the fuck? Did I need to do that 20 years ago? You know
maybe that's what I never tried. I was just, you know, like.
But I know a lot of people that had really good interactions with Conrad, which just, dude, if you've seen any of the tributes that people from all over the fucking world were, I was like, whoa, did you know a different guy than I did?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, you know?
And I say that in like, because I saw like a lot of like very like hat in hand, honest, you know, sort of like something. Like, I just never saw that. And I have to be John Wheeler, you know, but about it. But like, it is that what you say now, it's like, maybe that was the whole point. Because I mean, he was like yelling at me because I was like moving a car out of somewhere, trying not to hit another car. He's like, you can go faster than. He's just yelling at me in the parking lot like he's my dad, like teaching me to drive. And I guess I should have been like, what the you want to come in here? Like, I should have done that instead of being like, all right, man, Jesus, you know. I guess don't be the deferred kid. Just be like, what the fuck? You maybe wanted that New Jersey ball bust sort of back, you know, or whatever. That does make sense. But I was like, everyone tiptoes around everyone's death, and I need to be a dick about it.
I honestly, you know, here's the thing: is like he was a staple for me as a kid, because I remember playing First Avenue main stage when I was 17 and seeing this guy with these huge ass red dreadlocks.
Yep.
That's the picture I have up to, is him with his dreadlocks. Because everybody remembered those fucking dreadlocks, man, you know? But again, it's kind of like the whole Decker thing for me too. Like, I will say.
Right, because I weirdly got along with him later in his life too, and that is terrifyingly confusing to a lot of people.
And you know what? That's what's crazy is I know so many people that were like, that dude was such a piece of shit, and I was like, dude, I played with Carcass because of him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's Deicide, Morbid Angel, I mean, there's so many old Untombed, fucking dude, so many old death metal bands that were bucket list things for me as a kid. And I'm like, dude, somebody posted one that we play. God damn it, I get at the Mirage somewhere, and it was just an amazing bill. And I'm like, I would have never done that without fucking Decker's ass, you know. And
I just loved watching him scare the fucking piss out of like kids that were trying to buy death metal records at Nightfall, like because there wasn't an internet to buy, listen, whatever.
Yeah.
And like I would be there because like he was managing this band that like I was friends with, this death metal band called Pentagoria. This is so fucking long ago, but like
they were awesome.
So my buddy Scott, he was he works at Fright Props. He makes like haunted house machines now or something. Like it's incredible. But like back in the day, we were buddies. We both went to like Richfield High School, so I'd just be hanging around being an idiot, you know. And we'd be in the back of Nightfall doing something, and then Decker would just be like sleeping on the counter like that, and then like some kid would open the door and be like, hey man, how you doing? It's like, pretty fucking shitty actually. What the hell do you want? It's like, you just leave. It's like, you didn't need to sell that fucking, you know, Dimmu Borgir t-shirt that badly, I guess. Like, you know, just fucking just terrified people. Like, you'd be like, where's the garbage? You just grab it out of their hands and throw it on the floor. But I love that. Like, I was like, so like, I was afraid. I'm not saying like, and I wasn't afraid of him. Oh, I was very afraid of him. Yeah. But it's like, but I would so much rather be here than anywhere else right now. When I was 19, it's like, this is the most exciting person, you know.
I went to jail for that fucker one time, and
that story doesn't surprise me at all.
It was 6 years till I talked to him again, and then he asked us to play a show, and I said I will. Like, he never paid us when we were kids. He just gave us the experience. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And we didn't know shit. So when I realized that he was ripping everybody off all the time for so many years, right? So and I say that in jest because you know, you learn as you go. Right?
Yes.
You know, so I'm playing with Sublevel in the early parts of that, and we're playing above Ryan's, and he's out on the corner, and I look out the window and I see that fucking fat fuck, you know, I'm yelling at telling the guys in the band, and they're laughing, and all of a sudden we get done playing, and I just hear him go, Ryan, hey, is that you? And I fucking look down, I go, yeah, what do you want? And he goes, hey, you want to open up for DRI? And I'm like, only if you're paying. And then he's like, then he called me, you know, and he offers me $600 to play the show. And I said, okay. And he goes, but you got to backline it. I said, okay, cool. So we get to the show. We're in the alley, and he gives me $300. And he goes, all right, go ahead and load it in. I go, no, that's not going to happen. What do you mean? I go, and they're they're unloading the shit, and they're ready to pull it into the place. And I go, no, put that back in the truck. And they're like, what? And they're confused. And I look at him and I go, you said $600. I want $600 right here now. and you know, this is after, you know, I came to his house and tried to threaten him and didn't talk to him for 6 years.
Yeah.
But we became friends again after that. And then when he got really sick, he contacted me and we became really close then. He was very appreciative that I was one of those kids that would jump in his car with him and just go all around the Twin Cities handing out flyers, because that's what I figured you needed to do. That was the network thing back then, you know, like
it was.
As you know, you needed to find the one guy who could do a fucking thing for you, you know, and it was just cool that he, you know, offered to show me a little bit more about the business and, you know, making money, and we made a little money together and had fun.
Yeah. It's so fun to have pleasant memories of people who absolutely terrified most other people. Like,
I think I might have got a handshake out of Conrad one of the last times we played there, or we broke the. We didn't probably get off on the right foot though too, because do you remember before they redid the front of house system there when the mains used to hang from chains?
Yeah,
we were there with Black Flood Diesel, and Jake might have climbed up on there and swung from those. And,
he probably lost his fucking mind, dude.
He was not pleased. Yeah. There was some words were exchanged.
Yeah, I'm sure, dude. Yeah.
But so we didn't. In fairness, we didn't get off on like a great foot, but he did soften up over the years. He you know, it is weird that it's like he was somebody that like every time you play there, he'd find a way to do something that would kind of get under your skin or piss you off. But at the same time, like, where I do got to give the guy credit is I mean, every show that I've ever done at First Avenue went off without
Rock
a hitch.
solid, dude.
Perfectly.
Right.
I cannot think of a time where
Mecca, dude.
there was an issue with the production or shit didn't happen on time or the headliner went on stage late. You know, so.
The only time I ever seen that was like some of the hip hop shit. Like where it just got way out of hand, like fucking Naughty by Nature almost killing some dude in the audience. Yeah, it was, you know, that's
not that close,
when Tretch got
Yeah.
huge. Oh well, I mean, you know, but they're going on late. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They want to pull. You know, they want to pull it to the last fucking minute. I mean, LL Cool J. I always heard stories about him, you know, asking for payment up front and then not getting there till like an hour after he's supposed to get there, and then asking for more money because he knows the place is sold out. Like, I'm not going on, the place is full, like, pay me now or shit's gonna go crazy. And you got guys like, I've heard stories about Conrad just losing his fucking mind back there.
Reasonably so with that situation.
You
Like
know?
that's like apparently that's a thing too.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cultural sort of like
Hip hop does that shit.
You can get away with it. You
yeah.
should try to do it. And it's
Yep.
like, well, part of me, the fucking 21-year-old me in SMB loves that.
Yeah.
But and then as an adult who might be running a club, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, come
Well,
on.
I just remember when we were doing, you know, when we were booking at Lee's, you know, God damn it, James Rhines was managing Lee's at that time. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
he'd worked at the Quest. He'd worked all, you know, Mill City. He did all that shit for so many years. Worked for Prince. He did all this shit, you know. And I asked him, you know, like, because we would have TikTok and Pete Rents would come on, MC Rents, and we would do those kind of hip hop things. Sure. But he would always tell me, like, I won't book hip hop. And I'm like, why not? And he's like, because it brings in a bad element. Everybody wants to fight with each other over their tennis shoes and shit like that. You know what I mean? So it was like he would shy away from a lot of that shit. He didn't want it to come to Lee's because it was such a small spot anyway. You know what I mean?
I will say we just did that water wave thing in Dinkytown. There was a lot of young hip hop artists that actually seemed like they were
that's
extremely
the thing.
talented and
probably
the vibes were actually very good.
It was, and probably what James is probably just was like, as I said, it kind of goes in waves where it's like cooler to be like a hip hop kid, cooler to be in a band, cooler, you know, it just goes around as people age and stuff. And like, he was probably dealing with that very specific like time wave of like, oh yeah, this is where it's like a nightmare. And then like, it's like everyone was just, that show was, there was like fucking 40 different performers and everyone was on time. Everyone was like the DJ would just do like the Kmart, like, all right, we got Birdman coming up next. We got, you know, and the dude would just like, for all the weirdness, ended right on time, like everything. It's just like, wow. Because I was worried because I know what he's talking about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, because I've worked at venues and stuff, and I'm like, but it's like, nope, this was great.
Yeah.
It was great because it's like, there's like, it's revolved around to being like, no, you got to. Yeah, you hit your DMT pen, but you got to be there on time. You know, for what do you think this is?
Yeah, right.
And everybody's just like super nice and everything's just great. You know, it's like, and then, you know, in 5 more years, fuck knows, you know, what it'll be like. But that show, it was like a sign of the times. Like everything's kind of chill now.
Now we got one more tune, and we kind of talked about it a little bit. The Dead Kings is what it's called.
Yeah.
Any more insight on that one?
This one was a huge production, probably one of the higher track counts on the album because John did a lot of wild shit. There's pianos, we did a saxophone, there's guitar solos, analog synth, a ton of vocal tracks. There's like the choir singers. Yeah, there's a lot going on in this. It's almost probably better to just play it.
Is it very that Phil Spector wall of sound? Probably the most out of anything on the record, I would say.
Yeah. Nice. It's one of my favorites. I think this is definitely probably going to be the next video.
Awesome.
So
badass, man.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys for coming in and doing this, man. I really appreciate it. It's been too long, man. It's been too long.
Yeah, we can't wait this long next time.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yep. We'll have to get something together. You guys come back in and talk some shit, especially if you got some more videos coming out or whatever. You know, we'll try to get something figured out.
So much more shit to talk.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
It always happens like that. All right, bro. Thank you very much for coming in, boys. You want to say goodbye to anybody or anything like that?
Just follow us on Instagram, Facebook at SeXhail Music. At Reverend John Wheeler.
Yeah. Reverend Dr. John
Reverend John. He's a doctor.
We'll talk about that next time.
Yes. All right, man. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate it very much. You guys have a good evening. Peace out.
Whatever you need from me, 'cause I got nothing to give. Chasing life in a magazine, you'll never get your wish. Forced isolation, and no one's listening. I'm a cry for nation, and it's a reckoning. Dead kings will bury the truth and find our rise with faith. They show a mirror of a golden road, but they hide a trail of hate. A bloody kiss on the TV, tear the love from the bone. Wasted life in a video, so you won't feel alone. You wanna be the pirate, but no one's listening. You always choose the violent, and it's a reckoning. Dead kings will bury the truth and find our rise with faith. They show a mirror of a golden road, but they hide a trail of hate. A greedy line with a simple taste of flesh and open doors. And when I get my taste of you, I'm always wanting more. Dead kings will bury the truth and find our rise with faith. They show a mirror of a golden road, but they hide a trail of hate. A greedy life with a simple taste of flesh and open doors. And when I get my taste of you, I'm always wanting more.
Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual